Welcome back everyone, I am the Depressed Eeyore and this is Darkest Dungeon. So I did some reviewing of what my possible options are for setting up this fight. So this is what I'm going to go with. Kokum has not really changed much. I swapped out her fancy ancestor item with a witch file. Mainly because blight chance for the most part is good to go, and having a chance to stun would be pretty important in the later parts of the battle. Rinko is pretty much the same. I was tempted to give her some stuff for second slot, because there's quite a chance that she will end up in second slot at some point, but I decided to just go ahead and keep her standard healing items. She is at a little bit, she will be taking some additional stress damage, but that's about it. Everything else is pretty trivial and not a big deal. Yorihime is of course all about dodging. She also has really high stun resistance, which will hopefully help a little bit. Stress-wise, it's not too bad. And then for Mei Ling, so the final battle, there's going to be no torch, but anything that revolves around having high torchlight will work. Now, things that require low torchlight will not work. One thing I did change with Mei Ling is I took off Yop, because I'm not going to be using it, and replace it with Adrenaline Rush, which will allow her to heal herself, remove Blight and Bleed on herself, and give her a buff that can stack. So I'm hoping to stack a bunch of heavy buffs towards the end, and then hopefully rush to the end of the battle. Besides that, wow, 30% disease resistance. That's actually not that good. I was trying to see if there's any other ways that I can possibly boost her damage, but I think Legendary Bracers and this candle is kind of her best bet. I mean, that's 35% damage, and she's going to be taking a lot of stress, and that's about it. This boss does have a lot of Blight and Bleed, among other things. Also a whole lot of stress damage, but there's not really much I can do about that. But yeah, I don't think there's really much we can do. So we're going to go ahead and try this. If it works, great. We'll have beaten the game. If it hasn't, I will have to off-screen grind another group together, which is not something I look forward to. So here goes nothing. At last, the twisted heart of the world is laid bare for sword or supplication. Alright, so this final battle, there is no need for shovels. No need for torches, but I'll probably take them anyway. I'm gonna take food just because, you know, this is gonna be their last meal, might as well be. Heck, I'll just buy all these too, while I'm at it. Here, have some torches. Doesn't matter. Alright, let's embark. Ellipses. As you can see, there's no torch. A ghostly premonition presents itself. Is it really him?
In all my terrible researches, what I sought was a glimpse behind the veil, a crumb of cosmic truth. I found it here, and in that moment of brain-blasting realization, I ceased to be a man, and became a herald, an avatar of the crawling chaos.
Kinda sucks that the hallway's gonna give me stress. There are no hunger procs, just letting you know.
Life feeds on life. In your petty pursuit of family redemption, you consume those who rally to your cause, and in so doing, you strengthen the thing, accelerating the end. This is as it should be. It is why you are here. are chained here forever, you and I, at the end of the world. Free yourself, rouse the thing, and embrace the ineffable cosmic hideousness that lives within us all.
Here we are.
You still foolishly consider yourself an entity separate from the whole. I know better. And I will show you.
Okay. So right now, we can't do any damage to the ancestor. What we have to do is keep taking out these reflections until a certain thing pops up, and then we kill that, and it will do 1 damage to him. So that's phase 1. So let's begin. Stress reduce. Time heals all. Stress and bleed. Immune, as you can see. Alright, can you not crit me every freaking time? What's probably going to end up killing me is heart attacks. There you go. This is the guy we need to kill. Go, 1 damage. Go. Thank you for dodging. Alright, this time it actually made a perfect reflection. Alright, 2 of them. The other one just died. Okay. We need to kill 2 more of them. Okay, that's what we needed. Just trying to see what my options are here. Just go for gold.
The flesh is fluid. It can be changed, reshaped, remade.
Okay, we're now in phase 2. So, our target, of course, is the Ancestor, and then he has these absolute nothingness. These things are, of course, practically invulnerable. They have maxed out dodge, maxed out resistances, and more hit points than you can ever pierce. He will shuffle about the battlefield, so really you just gotta keep things up. Now the good news is he can be stunned, and he only has 1 action. So we can definitely do things about that. This is why you gotta make sure you have enough stuff to keep things going. I'll actually debuff you. There you go, now you can't dodge. Race Fertility. I'll shuffle me and do some stress. Go ahead and stun him again. Nice. $113. I have 200%, so I could probably stun him a second time. There we go. Go ahead and get her maxed out, just in case. 101. Alright, chances of stunning is about 47% now. We'll just get the blight going. Refashion. Alright, that shifted him. Which means now I can't stun him, which is a little bit annoying. But not the end of the world. The bleed there is going to be a bit annoying, but not the end of the world. So we'll just focus on... Actually, I'll just do some healing. gonna get one action off. Got him. Okay. Phase 3. Okay.
The flesh is immortal. It is undying. Pray it does not take too hideous a form.
You might notice that the narrator doesn't speak when we crit or anything like that anymore. Alright, so this phase will end in 3 rounds, or if we do enough damage. Supposedly if we hit it, I believe it heals us, but we do get blighted, I think, in return. Yeah. Okay, we managed to resist it. That's good. It's just going to do dispersion a bunch. I actually cast the wrong spell there. That still did what it needed to do. Actually, I didn't really need to use these holy waters. I could have just kept him stunned. So yeah, I'm just healing just to get some crits to get some stress reduction. Alright, I believe it's been 3 rounds, so... Nope, still did dispersion. I guess he's just gonna keep doing it then. There it is. And here's the final phase.
Behold the heart of the world, progenitor of life, father and mother, alpha and omega, our creator and our destroyer.
Alright, so this boss takes up all 4 slots. So as long as you can attack a slot from your position, you can attack the boss. Now this boss has a bunch of moves that do stun, blight, bleed, stress damage, and when we take down a third of its life, it's going to kill one of the party members. And once we take out another third of the life, he's going to kill another party member and leave us with only 2 people left. There's ways to skip over it, but it's pretty much relying on a damage blitz. So once we done about 80 points of damage, that's when things are gonna get fun. Do this. 28 stress. Alright, let's do this. Until you make her. I have to pick a character. Not me, I'm a learned scholar. It's too horrible, no! A proper lady does not volunteer herself for slaughter. Send me to hell then. Unfortunately, it's gonna have to be Yorihime. I'm gonna need the heals eventually. Or do I? I'm not sure how much damage this thing's gonna do to me. I really don't. I'll stick with the original plan. Alright. Okay, almost stressed out. Not quite. Alright, one way or the other, the stress, it's going to trigger the next one from dot damage alone, so just pump as much damage as you can. Alright, do what you can. There it is. I will go ahead and send Rinko. I was going to keep her around for heals, but I think we're okay. Careful, that's fine. Now we just gotta do enough damage to kill it this round. And we just did.
Victory.
Strict mode victory, such as it is entry level.
A ridiculous notion. We are born of this thing, made from it, and we will be returned to it in time. The great family of man. A profusion of errant flesh, multiplying, swarming, living, dying, until the stars align in their inexorable formation, and what sleeps is roused once more. To hatch from this fragile shell of earth and rock, and bring our inescapable end. So seek solace in a manner befitting your lineage, and take up your nugatory vigil, haunted forever by that sickening prose echoing through the infinite blackness of space and time. Ruin has come to our family.
And there you go. That is the end. Not exactly sure what happens if I come back into it.
Let me share with you the terrible wonders I have come to know.
Slain by a vile heart of darkness. So Rinko and Yorihime gave up their lives. And it seems to just keep going from this point on. As you can see, the darkest dungeon is completely gone. I guess it continues so you can do things like DLC and all that, but I don't intend on doing that. But there you go, I beat the game. So that's cool. Needless to say.
In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
There it is, the victory. So yeah, I don't really have much to say. I finally beat the game. So some of the achievements I got were, I believe I got strict mode because I left all the defaults on, which of course are generally the harder versions. Obviously got the achievement for beating the game. There's some other achievement I got, but I don't know what that was. At least I don't remember. But yeah, there is a way to beat that boss without losing a single person, but you have to essentially blitz enough damage before it procs its ability. And from what I could tell, it procs the ability the moment you hit it. So that's you pretty much have to take it all. You have to take 2/3 of its life in one blow. And if you fail that, it will back-to-back kill 2 of your party members, which can be pretty devastating. It is possible to just spare at least one of your characters. It's generally a little bit easier to do 1/3 of its damage in one shot. You can do it with things like lepers and hellions, and you can do things like stack a bunch of buffs, like emboldening vapors on top of adrenaline rush. I mean, you can have about 3 of these buffs stacked at the same time, so that's essentially plus like 180% damage. Actually, it might even be higher than that. You might actually be able to get 4 buffs at a time. Actually, no, 3. That's about right. So yeah, it'll be about 180% damage, and then you can just try to blast it in one go. But yeah, for a final battle, it is pretty much easier. The big thing, of course, is stress. There's not much you can do about it unless you stack a bunch of items that debuff stress, which I could have done, but I focused purely on damage and then dots. My original plan was to have Mei Ling and Rinko be the survivors, because Rinko can cast her heals at the second slot and then go from there. But once I saw kind of how the battle was going, I was like, you know what? I'll just focus on damage. In fact, I could have taken Rinko out first and then got to the next phase a little bit faster. But I figured I would just go ahead and just stack a bunch of dots first and take it a little bit slower, just so that final stretch could be a lot easier. But yeah, for the most part, the boss couldn't do anything. It had only one action, so I just kept stunning it. So yeah, that's Darkest Dungeon. Like I've said many times before, I'm not going to do any of the DLC. I don't really have any interest in it. I'm just glad I finally beat the game. Overall, it's a pretty good game. It can be a little annoying simply because you have to constantly... the fact you can't take these characters back into the Darkest Dungeon kind of forces you to use a whole lot of characters to actually beat the game with. I of course did kind of everything. You don't exactly need to do all the bosses to go to the Darkest Dungeon. You can kind of go there anytime you want once it's unlocked. So that's not really a big deal. Obviously you can have some major setbacks. Like in my case, since I lost a group against the Darkest Dungeon, that made it so I had to go and level up another group in order to even complete it. That's why those last few parts were just nothing but grinding, which is kind of tedious. The expansion does add a bunch of new stuff you can like upgrade, which can be really cool. But I don't want any of the other parts of the expansion, to be honest. I think if you take the expansion, the blood count or whatever it's called, I don't think it actually activates unless you go there. And going there is pretty annoying because it's set up like one of those unrevealed dungeons, so you don't know where to go, and it's kind of like a place you just kind of fully explore and do stuff in. The biggest issue is it has a lot of mechanics involving like blood addiction or something like that, and it could just wreck your group really, really easily. So that's why I didn't want to bother with it. Also, if you go there, those enemies that cause blood addiction will eventually end up in your other locations. So once you start messing with it, you have to finish it, or else it's just gonna keep bothering you. Obviously, I didn't do the Shield Bearer DLC because of the weird flashback mechanic it had. Obviously, I took so long playing this game, they started adding new mechanics like the stealth mechanic. Stealth mechanic wasn't a big deal for my particular party setups, since I have usually a decent amount of AoE attacks. And antiquarians can actually reveal them, so I had my options. But yeah, like I said, Darkest Dungeon, pretty good. It's a little tedious, but for a game that you kind of just like play on your own and at your own pace, it can be kind of fun, kind of like XCOM type style thing. I also really like the setting and kind of the setup of the place. I wouldn't mind seeing something kind of like a D&D type campaign of this sort, where it's just a simple, you got the estate here that you can upgrade, and go to the various dungeons and stuff like that and fully explore it. Kind of reminds me of how kind of Castle Ravenloft is supposed to act, where you're supposed to kind of go there, but you're not supposed to like complete it. You're supposed to kind of go there, see what's there, then come back later type thing, and I can see that happening with all these particular locations. Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and call this. I am the Depressed Eeyore. This was Darkest Dungeon. For those of you who went through all, like, 100-something parts of this, thank you for sticking around. I don't know what I'm going to do next just yet, but you'll know when it comes. See you guys next time.